Ahana.
Hello, I'm Daniel. We wanted to welcome you to Manifest Your Abundant Business Now. It's a series to help heart-based entrepreneurs take their business to the next level and to live their dream.
Want to sell more stuff? Well, today we have Brittany Bullen with us, who's going to show us how to do it. So Brittany is the owner and the head nerd of nerdygirl.co and a pioneer in personality marketing and has an upcoming book on the subject. So when I first came across Brittany's work a couple of years back, it was just so full of personality and energy, and I kept on going back for more. So I never forgot her, because when I emailed her to a mailing list, she wrote back. And so, I'm really happy to have her on this series and to talk to you about personality marketing for your business. Brittany, welcome to the series.
Hi guys, thanks so much for having me.
Hello, Brittany. I really want to begin with just telling us about your story. How did you decide to get into business in the first place around personality marketing? And can you tell us how it led to a book?
Sure, absolutely. So my business is not very close at all now from what it started with. We started out over at Nerdy Girl as kind of content writers for hire. And I built up this big sales force. Originally, the thought was to give at-home moms like myself the opportunity to build a business selling marketing services. So we built up this big old base of people to do that. And we had an investor, and all of our seed capital went into building up that sales force, and it just didn't work. For whatever reason, that model just didn't work for our business. And there I was, out of money and figuring out, do I close the doors, or do I try to figure out how to make this work? Just try to scale my own ability to sell, because for whatever reason, this model isn't going to work. And so I realized that if I was the one who was getting the clients, then I would have to start figuring out a way to get them at scale instead of having to track down every single last one. So that's when I started making videos. Mm-hmm. And the odd thing was, the more I made videos, the more people started asking me questions about how I was making them and how it was that I was getting, not just getting attention, but getting clients and actually making money, having people come to me without ever having talked to them before and saying I'm ready to buy. And what I realized was that it came pretty easily to me, but it's not something that comes easily to a lot of people. And so I think where my background is particularly niche-y that way is that I started as a performer. So I have I think very theatrically about these things. So there's a lot of story wrapped up in it. And I think that's what makes personality marketing so powerful, is that it gives us the opportunity to tell authentic human stories and to really increase that know, like, and trust factor online. Because to me, I feel like that's really something that a lot of business owners are missing. They do really well in person, because in person you can get to know somebody, but when it comes to online, we kind of follow the templates and the best practices, but there's not a lot of personality that comes through in our marketing, and we lose out on that brand loyalty because of it. So what I teach is how to help people inject their authentic personalities into their brands in a way that's going to be meaningful to their ideal customer.
Right. So actually that leads to the next question, because for personal branding is so huge, especially for startup entrepreneurs, and it's really difficult for them to really understand what works and what doesn't work. So is personality marketing, is it different from personality branding, or is it an extension of it?
Oh, it's the same. So when I say personality marketing, it can be taken a lot of different ways, but I'll tell you what it means to me. I feel like the best way to do this, to use it effectively, is to combine social media video with paid advertising. And of course, funnels, I'm sure you guys talk about funnels all the time. I'm a big fan, of course, but I think it's really important to entrepreneurs who are hoping to impact large quantities of people, to use these videos to kind of leverage their time and their resources as a selling tool. So personality marketing, I feel like, is figuring out which pieces of your personality are the most powerful from a sales standpoint, and figuring out how to better incorporate them in your brand. So it's the branding part is just kind of step one. It's figuring out how to put that into your message. But then the marketing part is a bit more end to end. It's okay, how do we, once we've got this brand, now what do we do with it? How do we turn it into cash flow for you?
Yeah, and is there any tips you can give in terms of how do you identify which parts of the personality would be good for, the audience?
So that's a good question. When I'm working with clients, a lot of I often find myself asking the same sorts of questions. So what I like to do is they're usually very clear on what they sell. They know what they have to offer. They know who they, at least somewhat who they want to offer it to. But where they're getting stuck is they're in a commoditized market. So they're one of a lot of people who sell the same thing to the same sort of audience. So what I like to do is figure out, how can we further niche this down using what's unique about you? So I ask them questions like, what are your hobbies? What do you like to read books about? What do you like to watch shows about? What did you study in school? Let's see, what work experience did you have before you did this? Or kind of what random obsessions do you have? And that's why like nerdiness is a big part of my brand. So my free Facebook group is called the Nerdy Girl Mastermind, and all my branding, if you'll notice, it has these glasses.
Yes.
And the glasses represent, like, nerdiness is like a whole other subject we could talk about for an hour. But for me, what nerdiness represents is like obsession, the things that you just totally geek out about and could talk about all day. And what I love about helping clients infuse their brands with that is that not only does it make your brand more unique, but it also gives you the longevity to stick it out when business becomes like drudgery, because you've put the most exciting part of your personality into it. So does that answer your question? Now I tend to get
I mean, those are great ways of just getting you to start thinking, like when you said that what books do you read, and what you're interested in, because that really brings out who you are, and then you put that part in the video. That does.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. So I have a friend who is an energy healer, and I don't even still fully understand what that is. But she was always trying to figure out, do I be this energy stuff over here, or do I be a Facebook ad expert over here? And so what she finally discovered was that she didn't have to choose. She didn't have to be either or, but now she kind of approaches them both at the same time. And so it's not right for everybody, but the people who it is right for, it's perfect for, because it's the people who need to kind of get their minds right in order to make their ads work better. And so she can kind of offer them both, and it makes her message so much more powerful.
Yeah, now that's perfect, because there's a lot of energy healers listening in on this one as well. So that's the perfect one for them, example for them. Yeah.
I just want to talk a little bit about why you need to show expertise in the market, and why influencer branding just really works.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually a really good question. I love that you kind of put those two questions together, because I think where a lot of people might miss the boat when it comes to this personality marketing stuff is that they feel like it's all about just going out there and being quirky and weird and being yourself. And I think you can definitely, there's a right and a wrong way to do this. Where we get confused as personality marketers is that we forget that it's not actually about us, it's about the customer. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to get out there and be like, look at me, this is my, this is my weirdness, and forget about the customer. And so establishing expertise, when I think about how that all fits together, I kind of think when you're creating content, the content has to be customer first, bar none. So it's always, whenever I go to create a video, it's always what sorts of, my content calendar is based on two things. What questions might somebody have before they would want to work with me, or what possible objections might someone have before they would work with me? And then I create teaching content to address all of those possible things. So that's where the education part comes in, but where the personality part comes in is really just in how I deliver that information. I think that's where that becomes really important, is, how I talk about things, how I title things, what my images look like. It's a lot of subtlety. And then the other part where the personality stuff can come in a little bit more is just in your organic presence on social media. I feel like you can play with that more, but when it comes time to really get down to teaching, then you show your expertise by being a good teacher and knowing what you're talking about. Because that's ultimately, people will like you because of your personality, but they'll trust you because of your expertise.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think that's really the balance between the two.
Yeah.
Like, it all really starts with the content. And if you have amazing content, people resonate with what you have to say. You standing out from the rest with your unique brand, your personality is really the secondary. The content is going to bring them there, and your quirkiness, as you put it, is going to keep them there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it has to work together. Yeah. So, there are a lot of people listening in who have either, they've have been doing a business for a while, but they haven't really reached out to a larger audience, or they're just starting out. So if they have to just start building an influencer brand, are there any starting points that you can give to them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, first, video is my big giant thing. Like if there's any possible way that you can get your head around getting in front of a camera, it's just so much more powerful than any other sort of media you could publish. There are ways to do this with written text. There are ways to do it with a podcast. It's doable, but video, I think, is the ultimate. I think, anybody who wants to create this sort of a brand should be making videos. But what I'll say about creating videos is that you have to get to a place where you can present yourself confidently and you can smile and you can have energy, because it really could, if your videos are crap, then they're not going to work for you like you want them to. But when it comes to distributing those videos, I definitely think Facebook is the place to be right now. I think also, it does depend on your audience. So you have to kind of know where your audience is. But I think it's a lot easier just getting started out to grow on Facebook than it is on, say, like a YouTube sort of deal. And what I love about Facebook too is that if you're publishing videos from your Facebook page, what you'll start to do is Facebook will gather that data and you'll start to build a warm audience of people who have watched your videos, even if you're not ready to advertise yet. If assuming that you want to someday down the road, you'll be able to then go back and show ads to the people who've been watching your videos, which I think is a really powerful thing. And it's something that everybody should be taking advantage of.
So just expand a little bit more on that. So obviously you're saying you're already using the social media like Facebook videos and getting your target through there. So how would you increase more influence through Facebook, through just social media posts and also videos as well? Like, what's your strategies?
So I'll tell you exactly personally what I do. I've been creating videos. My schedule is about 3 per week now, but somebody just getting started, if you can do 1 a week, that's great. Just whatever you can handle. My videos aren't long, they're 3 to 10 minutes usually. And if it's easier for people, they can certainly do live. And I don't do as much live because I'm not very articulate. I have a hard time making words, so I like to be able to edit things in case I lose my train of thought or sound weird. But you can do live or a combination of the two. But I do mostly pre-recorded videos, and I always publish them through my page versus my personal profile or my group. I do have a Facebook group. I'm a big believer in Facebook groups, but what I'll do is I'll publish the video with captions, always caption, huge on captions, because nobody, people probably won't watch your video if you don't have a good title and B, captions, at least in the beginning.
Well, I thought it was when you're scrolling on your mobile, the things come up and you don't have to get the sound.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask you the next question about, a little bit more sort of in depth about the video. So if you're covering it, maybe we can go a little bit more in depth about the videos and how to do it. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'll just finish this thought then. Yep. So the video gets uploaded to Facebook through my Facebook page, and then I will share it from from the Facebook page to the group. I will also take that video and it goes to my email subscribers. Yes. We upload the video also to YouTube. We put it on my blog and then pin it to Pinterest. So it's a lot of content. Like, what I love about video is it's so easy to repurpose. We even strip down the audio and put that as a podcast. So it's just, it's nice for me because all I have to do is create the video and then my team just makes it go everywhere. And so it's a really great way to get the most out of your social media calendar. But I will say before we move on that Facebook groups are best. I love my Facebook group. I spend a lot of time in there. All my best clients come from there. So I treat my Facebook group like I would treat a more professional version of my personal profile. So I don't do any automation in there. It's all very hands-on. I try to make it fun. It's not all business stuff. But cultivating kind of a party atmosphere in a Facebook group is a really powerful thing to do. And I think it's definitely an important part of almost all personality brands today.
Mm.
Mm.
So do you think the longer videos work when you're doing, like, you're teaching something? Do the longer videos work anymore, or is it just mostly shorter videos? What's
I
up?
think it depends what you're teaching. And I think it depends where in the funnel it is. Like, kind of my general rule of thumb is like the less somebody knows you, the less they're willing to watch. You know what I mean? So like for an ad, I try to keep my videos around a minute. For my email list or for my group, they're a little bit longer. If it's a webinar, obviously it's going to be longer. So I think it depends on your subject matter and, kind of the degree of commitment that people have made.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. So you're a mompreneur and you've built your business from home. So how do you get a successful business running and really save that time and energy to spend time with your family? So what are some of the strategies you use to make all this happen?
Well, one thing that I'll say is particularly awesome that we've started doing that saves my life all the time is we do family cooking day on Sundays. So what we'll do is on Saturday, I'll go get whatever we need, and then we'll just spend like this massive prep session getting all the food ready for the week, which is so nice because cooking all the time is just too much. So it's nice to get that done just the one time a week and have everybody pitch in and help together. That has been a huge time saver. I will say I have help. I have been very blessed. We have I have a live-in housekeeper / nanny person who saves my life all the time, and I really there's no way I could have done what I've done without them. So that's helpful too. I mean, I know that's not accessible for everybody, but another thing that I will say is that I've been really clear with my boys about setting boundaries. Like basically if there's something like this going on, I lock my door, and they know if my door is locked, then I'm either filming or doing something important and can't be disturbed. And for the most part, they respect that. And sometimes I forget and my kids wander in and it's fine. But I think the important thing is just with kids, I find that they can be very understanding of my need for space as long as in the times that we're together that I really give them my full attention and try to make it like a happy moment. I try to squeeze as much parental love juice into those little moments as I possibly can. And not rush it because they usually have their own stuff that they want to do anyway. But as soon as I find that as soon as I try to resist them and like make it go faster, they just want to stay for longer.
Yep.
So yes, radical attention and then release.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so we've touched a little bit, I think, on some strategies. You talked about the Facebook group, finding clients through there, and the Facebook ads with the video. Mm-hmm. But just a question on how to pull all of this together and increase sales. So how does it lead to sales?
So one thing that I've been using a lot lately that I love is messenger bots. I'm a big believer in messenger bots, particularly deeper into the funnel. So now it becomes really easy for me to figure out what my call to action is going to be at the end of each video. Because what I do is I just send them to brittnybullen.com/chat. And that takes them into a chatbot sequence that kind of leads them to the right offer for their situation. Because one thing that I used to struggle with quite a bit is that I had so many courses and so many coaching programs, so many different offers that I was never quite sure which one to send people to. And what I also know is that a lot of the people who are watching my videos are the people who are already on my email list. So I don't necessarily want to send them back to a freebie because they've already probably seen it. So I really like that option for your kind of ongoing top of mind sorts of video campaigns to send people to the bot. And so they know, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure story. They wind up in the right place and they don't necessarily have to talk to a human to get there. So I think that's a really powerful thing.
I just wanted to add one more thing. Like what we began with at the start, we knew about your story about how you come into it, but can you just expand a little bit more about how the book came about? What
sure.
was your theory behind that, and how did that organically grow?
Yeah,
absolutely. So the book really is because I'm so passionate about personality marketing as kind of the future of what being a solopreneur is. And I wanted to have some sort of a vehicle to kind of teach people about that isn't a course, and that it's more kind of price accessible for your average person just getting started. And I really just love the idea of using a book as a marketing tool. I feel like direct mail, like just getting something in the mail, is such a powerful thing. And I think that it's something that it's kind of an old school marketing technique, but I think that's the reason it's so powerful, because so few people are doing it. And so to me, I mostly think of it like, I don't intend to make money from the book, but I want to gather as many addresses from my engaged audience members as I possibly can, so that I can begin to leverage multiple forms of marketing as we scale, just because I think that's fun and powerful. And cool.
When's your book coming out? Is it in progress, or when?
Yes, it's almost ready for launch. It'll probably be the week after 4th of July that we'll be launching it.
Awesome.
And just to say one thing about books is, to me, books have always been a validation. If somebody is an author in a certain area, that obviously gives you that little bit of expertise, and it obviously brands you to a slightly different audience than just social media. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's very much a positioning tool as well. Like I want people to think personality marketing and put my name with it. So I want to really get out there and be the person who brought this term or this discipline to marketing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, good stuff. So, if people wanted to see more of your work, is there something you're giving away today, or how can they find more of you?
So probably the best place to start would be to go to captivateoncamera.com. I teach a lot about video and how to get better results from your videos. And so I have a great free training there. If they just go visit captivateoncamera.com, and then they'll get on my email list, and they can find all the other fun videos and group things, and see kind of in action what those videos look like and how I sell with them. I think I'm really good with my email subscribers. I pretty much just send them videos, like almost probably like 95% of what I sell is videos.
I know, I'm on it.
So yeah, I think I have a pretty cool email list, but I send them, so what do I know?
So for the people watching the video, just make sure you click below this, and I'll have a link there which I'll redirect you straight to the page, and you can get all the goodies from there. So
yes, thank you. And just if you watch the videos on my Facebook, then I will retarget you, and you will see when the book comes out. You'll be able to buy it.
I thought I went. Yeah, I figured that's what you were doing. You have a tracking pixel. I thought I won't get.
Yes, I will find you.
This is nerdy. I should have got into that side of it, but no. All right. So thank you, Brittany. It's been awesome spending time with you, and just having you share your secrets and learn some of your strategies.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay. And for everyone else, stay tuned. The next video will be coming in your email tomorrow, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.